I'm back, sort of. I'm just excited about the coffee, and I like this place. I don't even know how I ended up here. I was like literally on my way to Panera, and I realized I was driving in the wrong direction. Then, like, something clicked in my mind, like, what if I don't want to go to Panera? And I had that whole thought process about how it would be better to just come here. I didn't even realize I would be recording when I got here. I'm actually ecstatic that I was able to pull this off. My line sister told me that I needed to do a video about the third eye and why I chose to name this series My Third Eye. Because obviously, some of you may know what that is and others don't. To avoid going too deep into explaining what your third eye is and leaving some room for you to do your own research and exploration of what it is and what it means. Your third eye is like your psychic eye. That's the way I should have. I don't know if that's the way I should have jumped into its explanation. That's how I perceive it. That's the way I look at it. Some scientists and researchers once thought that it was something that we had thousands of years ago we no longer use anymore, so it just regressed into our head. It's in your head. Put some pictures up and things about what it looks like. It's your pineal gland. Hopefully, yeah, I'm saying it correctly, but that's just to show, you know, I don't know everything. This is just a journey. I came to a point in my life, I realized there were some changes going on, and I decided to explore those changes within myself, within my perspective, my ideology, you know, a whole bunch of shit came into question. So it's in your head, it's your pineal gland, it's responsible for creating melatonin. Pretty much it's attributed to your ability to tap into your higher self. You hear me say things that you don't know the meaning of, or you don't know what I mean by when I say it, and that's fine. It's your time to do your research if you want to, and if you don't, then you don't. But thanks for the view. I decided to name this series My Third Eye because it's the beginning of the decalcification of my third eye, my pineal gland. It is my journey into my higher self, me discovering what it really means to be spiritual as opposed to religious. I've got plenty of experience in the religious world, enough to know that it's bullshit, to know that it isn't truth. I want to know the truth, and this whole journey is about me figuring out the truth. The tricky thing about it is, if you want to know something, you have to go out and figure it out. You have to go out and find it. And finding it forces you to become a researcher. It forces you to become a historian, a freaking philosopher, or whatever, because you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for a grade. You're not doing it for your pastor. You're not doing it for your mom. You're doing it for yourself. And the information becomes so important to you. It becomes so valuable, and it changes you. The information just becomes your information. It becomes something that's important to you, and you find yourself studying. When I was in college, let's not even talk about when I was in college, but let's just say I knew the shit was real when my neighbor came over one day, and she asked me what school I was enrolled in, and I was looking at her like she was crazy because I didn't know why she would ask me a question like that. And she pretty much told me every time she sees me, I'm outside with a book in my hand, or I'm outside and it looks like I'm studying. And I'm like, you know, it was just nice to see that although I'm really hard on myself, and although I think I have, you know, tons to learn, and I do have tons to learn, it is evident that I have been, really putting my best foot forward and really diving in, deep into all there is to know. And there's a lot to know. That's what this journey is about. Maybe I'll talk about some of the books I'm reading. You guys have already seen my discussions with different individuals. And the reason for that is I really like to sit down and hear other people's perspective. I believe that the church says that Christ is within all of us. God is in all of us. And Christ said that we would do greater things than he. So if that's the case, then, everyone around me is a resource. Everyone around me can do greater than Christ. So I want to tap into that. I want people to know that they have that power and that ability within themselves. It has been great. I haven't even scratched, the surface of what it is I want to do and where I want to go and what I want to learn. But I am really enjoying the process that I'm going through, although it sucks balls sometimes. You have to be vulnerable and you have to put yourself out there, and if you think something, you have to try it. And when you try it, it may work out the way you thought it would, and it may not. And then you just have to make the necessary adjustments to yourself, based upon your experiences and based upon your perspective here, wherever this is that we are. Can't believe I stopped eating this. Talk to the camera. So there's also a negative connotation that comes along with the third eye, because your third eye would be like right here. There are lots of satanic references when it comes to, like, they've got lots of figures that have a third eye and people see it as satanic. But really, I know for me, I never did any kind of research. I never even really asked anybody what it meant and where it came from and who drew it and whose idea it was. I just listened to what everyone else said. Everyone said it was a satanic thing, so I just did my best to stay completely away from it. But once I did my own research, or once I reached out to someone who had knowledge and was gracious enough to share it with me, then I discovered, things weren't exactly as they appeared. I discovered that I wanted to know the truth. And some shit happened. And more shit happened. And here we are. My third eye.